Hello, and welcome to another edition of Xfeed. I checked the bookmarks, and I have to say, right off the rip, today is going to be an absolute juicer. If you missed the drama over the weekend, there is there is absolutely nothing shy of drama today. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out here with me today. And if you want to share this with a friend and maybe share it, would be incredible. All right, kicking things off with some positive vibes. I like replaying these things back in 2021 when the market was simpler. This is me opening up an NBA Top Shot pack.
We're saving up for the rare. That's the excuse, not the reason. W. Oh, W. Oh, W.
Yeah, we got the Raptors flag in the back. We got the standard microphone. We got everything cooking. Remember when NFTs were fun and we were just like, man, life's good. All we need is a LeBron James NBA Top Shot moment, and we're good. A little bit of Bored Ape news here, a couple tweets, a lot of news coming around ApeCoin as of lately. Gonna get into anime chain here with Azuki here in a second as well. But ApeChain will be gaming first, but not a gaming only chain. Further, ApeChain will be like a theme park where everything runs on Ape. So for anybody that doesn't know, we're kind of trying to figure out what in the heck is the use case for Ape. And one of the things for that is some of the different games, or at least it used to be with heavy metal, where you could pay to have your forge have a different kind of look and just show, hey, like this is a cooler spot to hang out, I guess. And then staking. But one of the big problems with ApeCoin overall is that there hasn't really been many syncs except for different merchandise drops. So interested to see what this ApeChain does. Does it actually provide a lot of extra value? A few more points from this ApeChain space, and this is again from Bored Ape Gazette, who is funded from the ApeCoin DAO. During today's ApeChain space, Horizon Labs blockchain Zilla said that he does not have any specific partners that will be building and giving ape holders airdrops on ApeChain yet, but he did say that the community can expect good things. So is that in reference to the fact that there's nobody building anything right now? They're in preliminary talks. What does that mean? And then breaking news, Horizon Labs blockchain Zilla said that ApeCoin holders can expect a lot of airdrops. I feel like we've tried to shy away from saying, yeah, you're about to get a bunch of free stuff generally within the space, but interesting takeaway nonetheless. And this is kind of a bigger one, where Captain Trippy says new alpha ApeChain testnet momentarily. There'll be a couple of testnets. First is the Jenkins testnet. So way back in the day, there was a lot of different people that tried to submit proposals to Yuga Labs to create something, and I'm pretty sure it was like upwards of like $1,000 to potentially a little bit more, depending on what the vision of the scope was. And that's how Jenkins the Valet, which is kind of a brand based around this ape, was formed. And so to know that ApeChain is going to have a couple of test nets, and one of them being Jenkins, is that referencing like something is going on with Jenkins? Are they just simply calling it Jenkins and it's something that's, you know, a nice little touch, but otherwise doesn't really mean anything? Then a big sale coming through here for a MAGA code at 3.31 ETH. These are generally down about an ETH right now. Obviously, Yuga has decided to keep those, but still a rather big sale of an item that goes sometimes upwards of $100,000 for $10,000. And then heavy metal. We're finally seeing some of the showcases of what the evolutions are going to look like for heavy metal. I think they're pretty cool, but again, it's all about liking the IP, liking the game. Is going to get more players. Adoption can look cool, but where is that player base? Mike Dudas coming through here with some thoughts about important crypto happenings that are bubbling in his mind. And this is actually a really good breakthrough in terms of like breaking down some of like the biggest significant happenings. So Stripe stablecoin news was massive, and we'll get into that in a second. They legitimize things in fintech the way Elon does in physical industries or Sama does in AI. Coinbase is firing on all cylinders. Base, Solana support, fiat off-ramps, international expansion. Stablecoin bill is dangerous. I believe nothing is the better option right now and wish it would get punted to the next session. Apparently, there's a stablecoin bill that's going on. That was one of the biggest concerns that people had over the last little bit. I remember early on, Zedrun and breeding as a whole actually was a big question around regulators because it was like people buying things that they weren't really sure what they were going to get, or there was some weird thing with breeding way back in the day. But stablecoin on like a bigger picture for crypto is kind of being a part of this in a big way. The US government vortex is intense right now, all over projects, funds, and more. Crypto is unstoppable. And if you haven't seen the news out of Russia regarding crypto, apparently they are trying to kibosh it a little bit. At least that's what the headlines say. I'll get into the details momentarily. The initial ETF flow show the demand. Wall Street wants the products. Morgan Stanley broker news. The horse is out of the barn. Regulatory environment in the EU, Hong Kong, Singapore, UAE, and more is very promising. Developer interest across Bitcoin, Solana, Monad, Move Chains, and Ethereum L2s is staggering. The amount of chains we have is also staggering. College blockchain clubs are back in full force, starting with the youth. They are cooking up the good stuff. And we did highlight one of the US universities a while ago that was like selling an NFT to help fund the club. And it's really, really cool that we're starting to see more movements in that kind of area. A few VCs have lost their discipline, which can actually hurt founders, but most are working as partners to founders to structure healthy rounds. There is still a dearth of highly skilled marketing, growth ops, and customer support professionals in crypto. And there's a whole lot more, but we're not going to go over all of it. Okay, but anime chain. So have you noticed that like Arbitrum has been continually getting brought up more and more here? Mr. Harry Sean. Good morning, sir. How are you? And so Azuki's doing something with Arbitrum at a point, and it's supposed to be this anime chain. And so we just talked about ape chain. There's anime chain. There's too many chains, guys. There's too many chains. But can Bored Ape Yacht Club get us a deal with Wonder Dynamics so we can create more content? So we highlighted this the other day where people have these 3D files, they don't really know what to do with them, and that's supposed to help with it. And I mucked up my order. So let me go over to this one where it's a good point here from Roy Maj. It says, did Yuga Labs just start an animation studio with 5,000 employees and $0 payroll? Think of all the people that are out there trying to do something with their apes and like posting it all over the timeline. All this stuff's free marketing. Listen, if you're a community member, no matter what your collection, you are the marketer. And so Arbitrum and Azuki. Shay, good morning, good morning. 16,000 minted, 11,000 owners. Okay, what the hell is this? It's called Azuki. Azuki. So when you click on it, it says mint the special edition Azuki number 723 with custom Arbitrum traits designed by Steamboy, co-creator of Azuki, who is also the art director, I believe, for Overwatch at a point. The Lightning Azuki represents the speed and performance of Arbitrum technology. All proceeds from Zora Protocol rewards will go to Arbitrum DAO. The mint started on the 25th. There is 31 ETH in creator earnings so far with 50,000 unique minters. So just think about that for a second. When you're looking at your different ecosystems and seeing the growth for Azuki here, 50,000 unique minters. Again, some people could have multiple wallets, et cetera, et cetera. Very interesting to see. And you can get one if you are wanting to. And final thing I want to highlight here, and we're going to get into IP throughout as we always do. But there's a lot of things within the Yugi ecosystem where people are just slapping their NFTs on different brands, and it's just more recognizability. Like some people are like, oh, that's kind of stupid, but like overall, it's just Web3 brands. We might be surprised how much they can impact everything. Handful of big ETH PFP sales in the past 24 hours. This was on the 26th, so a few days ago, but pretty notable nonetheless. Yomo Metamedia, good morning. Spirit Azuki, 67 ETH. A Bearded Punk, 52 ETH. King's Crown, BAYC, 37 ETH. Again, that's significantly higher than the floor. And then Zombie, MFer for 4.069 ETH. Every time, 0.069. Okay, there has been some wild happenings. We're going to get into the coolmans in a little bit because Harry Swan's here, and I know he loves a little bit of coolmans FUD. But Play Big Time has had an eventful past little bit. and they've kind of gotten cooked on my timeline. So if you happen to be in these collections and if you're wanting to, speak up, give me some extra insights on here, feel free. But I've taken some tweets and we'll run through them super quick. And I'm Tolly. Howdy. Community reporting some red alerts about play big time, says Grail. The founders team are starting to act up against the community that made them. I was initially impressed with how Big Time created an incentivized leaderboard system to drive Web3 liquidity into the token and assets. It worked because the circulating supply was tiny and the leaderboard rewards were very high. I doubt the model is sustainable over the mid to long term as supply increases, but it was an interesting lesson in ecosystem design that pushed NFT assets and tokens up. And the business model of selling loot boxes and essentially forcing your community to buy them or to earn has been wildly profitable for the company to the tune on millions per month in sales. But you are nothing without your community, something that seems the Big Time team is now starting to forget. So there's a point within here talking about Decentraland, and we'll kind of say what exactly happened, but they say, I consider Decentraland our Miliatek's Ari Melich previous effort a profitable failure developed into nothing but a zombie project with zero utility. So was Decentraland like this Ari guy? Did he create Decentraland and play big time, or was he just like a part of it in like an executive type role? Because that's something that I actually don't know. But basically it says it devolved into a zombie project with zero utility for Decentraland, generally agree, and zero users, only a product that allowed founders to slowly exit vast profits from the poor sods buying on the market. Now, for anybody that's new that's tuning in for the first time, okay, Shell, why are you ripping on Decentraland? What's going on? And there's not been a whole lot that's happened with it, but it's got one of like the craziest valuations we've seen in the space for something that like kind of does nothing, like respectfully, right? And so like the market cap here is 826 million. And I don't know a single person that talks about it. It feels like it's grossly overinflated. And so I kind of agree with the thoughts of like, hey, this kind of allows you for the exits. But anyway, the post over here, and we'll get into it something here from Boomer. So Steve Woody says, so Play Big Time just decided to rug their community. They allowed people to generate in-game assets and decided that rather than let the players keep them, they will wipe them. Son of a gun. Why is this a problem? Because of the in-game bugs, people like myself couldn't convert them. I couldn't even log in. The team did nothing to fix it. Imagine spending months grinding assets that others are able to cash out for real money, but they suddenly decide we're going to wipe them and you will get nothing. Even though you spend hundreds of thousands on game assets, which are now worthless, less than 80% of what you bought them for initially, 100% scammers. So let's pause for a second. Humbaya. There is like a wild thing within Web3 where I feel like there's an expectation of profits within everything. And then further to that, is that fair? Right? Because when we really like take a step back and we're like, okay, we're down 80% of what we bought, right? You go out to a lot, you buy a new car, apparently loses like 15, 20%, whatever the number is, right? Every time you buy something, it loses and goes down. However, most of these purchases are done within like a speculative nature. And obviously this is kind of new technology. And I would argue that, some of these things are really going to be revolutionary. A lot of companies, protocols out there are trying to build something that is very defining. But of course, we've seen major games have problems. I saw some article the other day where they were saying that like Escape from Tarkov is actively driving away players. I don't play Escape from Tarkov. I don't know anything, right? But there's all these kind of issues with traditional games. And now on top of that, instead of somebody, potentially buying some skins, they're spending ample amount of money in the hopes that it turns into something where it's like, what's going on here? So here's Boomer's take on it. It's all over the timeline. Play Big Time screwed over their community again. This time it's a total wipe of all cracked hourglasses, schematics, and mod chips. The community spends hours farming and collecting these items, and for what? For Big Time to reset the server and erase your efforts? This is a slap in the face to every player. This move screams Web 2, where companies trample over player investments without a second thought. Big Time is exploiting this community on a massive scale. This is not just disappointing, it's a grotesque betrayal of trust. In a true Web3 world, ownership is supposed to be immutable and respected, but Big Time has shown that ownership counts for nothing. They have the final say, and they've chosen to screw over the community by deleting your assets. Yo, Jeez, the timeline is just cooking, people. And this isn't the only story of the day. Listen, if you're just tuning in, what's up? My name is Schiller. This is Xfeed. We do it every Monday to Friday. And boy, oh boy. Okay, so Nick out on the timeline. Choose Rich. You know what's going on. He's saying again here, there was a previous claim that he made that was saying that Artifact, the company that's in Web3 that like Nike owns and I guess just that, Artifact will be fully dissolved later this year. Nike is going all in on dot swoosh. And so last week we did highlight the shoes and the games they were doing and the dot swoosh thing. I feels has a pretty good aura. Not aura's, well, aura's like more of a person. That's not the right terminology. Geez, that's borderline cringe. Sentiment. Yeah. Sentiment. It's got like a better sentiment overall, I think, comparatively to Artifact, because Artifacts have these things, and it's not necessarily anything against Artifact. We've seen for essentially every team within Web3 where you have to kind of play the market by ear. You're going to have to pivot, do things that not everybody's going to like, yada, yada, yada. But he's out here and he's saying that that is for sure happening and kind of doubling down on that. And a lot of people saying in the comments like, yeah, this guy could get sued if he didn't actually believe that. This is like, you know, some huge misinformation right there. But Nike is meant to be about culture. If they can't be bothered to foot the small bill to keep the trailblazing pioneers Artifact in the lab cooking, then I don't know why they acquired and what TF they're meant to stand for. Web3 reputation will forever be tainted. Blockchains don't forget. So kind of the point of like, does Artifact have some kind of like a tainted thing? Is this dot swoosh thing a little bit better? I don't know. And Kid Arcade, hello. Almost unprecedented level of FUD on my timeline over the past 2 weeks, says Tyler. Crypto is down in general, which probably doesn't help the overall sentiment, but I think there is something more at play. No one is being spared. Rug Radio, Hytopia, Yuga Labs, etc. The reasons raised by the community are almost always the same. Delays in delivering the goods, bad communication from the team, lack of consideration for the holders. I thought long and hard about what might be the phenomenon observed across the board. My conclusion, I believe there is a general realization that in order to make it, one needs to invest their bags into projects that are actually building something useful and capable of disrupting a particular sector. No one believes anymore that Gen Wealth will be made by holding a PFP so irresistible that others will be willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars to pry it off your hands. So again, going on, Nike boy. This goes back to the aspect of almost everything within the Web3 space right now is with the expectations of profit. It's not buying something because you like it. And so why have I been talking so much about like IP as of late is because when are we going to just buy things because we like it and we're not just using the blockchain as an aspect of profitability? Because again, you go, like we had a family reunion the other day and, you know, I didn't know, but apparently like a lot of the family is actually like tuned into the show. They're like, yeah, like I kind of get what you're talking about, but like not really at the same time. And you just sit there and I'm like, I don't really know like how to describe the stuff too. It's like, okay, like, yeah, let's onboard the family. And then you like talk about it, it's like, okay, like for the most part, people are just looking at it from like the profitability of like certain components. And there is that because it's supposed to be the technology that is, you know, going to revolutionize the world. And it's the internet of value, as Aaron McDonald says. And I'm like, okay, like I get that concept, but because there is so much of these other things going on, I feel like there's also a little bit of getting lost in the sauce. But I generally agree with the sentiment overall. Not going to go over the entire point here. But Josh Bobrovsky saying, if you want to take investing seriously, you have to be able to distinguish between genuine issues and FUD. So the whole timeline is completely FUD. Paul Barron saying, don't underplay Stripe's support for crypto. And again, Stripe was out for like 10 plus years, coming back and kind of adding crypto payments to their rails. Kind of spicy. This won't go the way of X Promise of Everything app. And let's not forget the last weak hand played by Starbucks of those who rather follow the innovation. Executive support for a long time will usher in real commerce and retail. Wait for it. A big announcement. If you know, you know. Okay, apparently Paul Barron knows the goods. Stripe, third time's a charm. Stablecoin regulation is imminent. And first taste of lower fees and faster settlement at Visa. Better get moving, boys. Do you guys remember when Visa bought a CryptoPunk? Crazy. Do you guys remember Crawley Town with the WAGMI United? Apparently they are in the playoffs, which is really cool. And of course that gets brought up and then Beanie's trying to cook it. But I think that this was something that was supposed to be really, really fun, but it like kind of got lost in the sauce again with, you having like that global crowd. And one of the things during that family reunion that I kind of realized with like talking to some people about it is like, this is really global. Everything to do with Web3 is massively global. And I think that that aspect is really, really cool. And it's exciting to think of where we might end up. And Jerry's got a great video regarding Futureverse if you guys haven't seen it, at Jerry's Metaverse. I'm not going to go over to play the video here, but there was some cool back and forth comments within this between Jetson and Jerry's, where they were talking about the patents, and then Aaron McDonald saying over 30 patents granted and pending in AI and Web3. So that could be something that is big. Apparently some other collections are already infringing, or I should say companies' protocols on some of their patents. Again, we'll see how that kind of flushes out here. But back to some of the artifact FUD here. 2022 artifact dropping next IP. 2023 Animus never came to life. 2024 delays for 2 to 3 weeks. After a month of wait, still no news. Frustrating, to be honest. Okay, dude. So are we at a point, this might be a weird take, are we at a point again where people are, and by people I mean these companies, are holding off on things because the market is in a very turbulent state? I mean, if you have really good news that potentially impacts what's going on, do you want to do it right now in the midst of all the FUD? I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Fun fact, less than 5% of the global population is invested in crypto. Lucanet says that Lil Pudgies might have a Solana bridge soon. I have no idea what's going on there, but apparently Lil Pudgies are moving to Solana. You guys see the massive price drop over the past 24 hours for Prometheans coming from Cyberkongs and the whole Bitcoin runes aspect? Massive tankage. Holy sweet mother of pearl. Going to check that out. I thought that was fake for a moment, but they were at 0.08 all the way down to 0.02 Bitcoin. So again, massive downtrend on that. However, there was a snapshot, and it's interesting to think about, because if you're somebody that's new within the space, you buy, let's say you bought one of these Prometheans. Let's say it was like $1,000. It's probably more, maybe less. I don't know. Let's say you put $1,000 in this, and they say, hey, the snapshot's done. You look at it, and then boom, it's down like over 50% in value. I'd be like, wait, hold on. How does this work? Why does a snapshot do that? And then they like explain it. It's funny to think about like the first reactions and realizations of people learning all this stuff. Just in, Hong Kong's Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs inflows expected to be up to $300 million tomorrow on the first day, which is far more than the $125 million, about like less than half of the first day issuance in the United States for the Bitcoin ETFs. Now, again, this is a little bit different because it's the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF, right? Like if Ethereum had one too, there'd probably be a matching amount put into that, but very interesting nonetheless. So when I see people talk about something on the timeline and it's back to back, it's from like completely different people, I'm always like, okay, interesting. So Wave here saying, I rarely ever show on the timeline. I'm allergic to most of the Shiza coins and vaporware. I've never done a promoted tweet ever. Okay, all this is mumbo jumbo. Get to the point here, but only 286 of my mutuals are following Pirate Nation, who's A16 backed, building GameFi infrastructure. So have you seen Pirate Nation? I don't follow them. Listen, I got, holy geez, we have like 330 mutual followers almost on there, but a fully on-chain role-playing game filled with high seas adventure, treasure, and unexpected surprises. Okay, that's cool. And then boom, again, here from Grail, it's never been a better time to be a pirate. Swept 16 pirates. I don't know. There's just something interesting about seeing people talk about a project at the same time, kind of, that I haven't seen on the timeline in a little bit. Does that mean first mover advantage? Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, back to the IP here. If you were going to go play an MMORPG or design one, it sounds kind of cool, but what if it's a Game of Thrones one? Holy sheesh, let's go. Exactly. Apparently, new Game of Thrones video game is reportedly in development at Nexon. It's going to be an MMORPG set in the North, and story campaign is online. Kind of spicy and exciting. So the Gutter Cat gang, we're seeing a lot of debates, people questioning the, do we call them staple NFTs from like 21, 22? staple the right word, but there's a lot of redemption arcs that are attempting to be made, which again, we'll get into the coolmans universe here in a second. But Gutter Cat Gang is doing a token after originally saying they're not. Team transferred ownership. Bunch of things ended up happening here, but for their tokenomics, 25% is going to the community, 14% community sale, 33% to the ecosystem, 5% seed round, 11% strategic round, 7% to the team, and 5% to liquidity. But they're saying basically the breakdown is 72% of the token allocation goes to the community, which is a massive amount if that ends up coming to fruition, which it should, unless some random shady things happen. Coolmans universe. All right, MLB news here. This is kind of funny for anybody that's just a general sports fan. You've seen like some wild looking, just the jerseys this year for MLB have been atrocious. MLB is making changes to the new uniforms after weeks of complaints from players and fans. The changes will include larger lettering on the back of jerseys, remedying, I don't know why I had trouble saying that, mismatched gray tops and bottoms, and addressing the issue of jerseys collecting sweat. Yuck. Did you mint Psychedelics Anonymous? I think I did. To be honest, I think I did. You got to go way back and remember, because this was a long time ago, but apparently you can claim this PSY points. And so when I went to go check that out, he has like a comment. It's not on their page. It's not like advertised. I found it in the comments. And again, like it's a legit comment. Like it's a real account. So just realize if you're trying to find this, but for these PSY points, the current usages are for New Dawn, whatever that is, IRL merchandise. PSY points can be used to purchase non-exclusive partnership traits, other collection traits, discounts on IRL purchases, and potentially used to operate the New Dawn platform in the future. So I guess if you want merch and you want to start accumulating points, you can get into that. Okay, we got to get into this video in a minute. So the Coolmans universe, holy guacamole. So they launched the Cool Coin. They had an exchange that listed it. Rather big deal. Collection kind of was at a standstill. Nothing was going on. I'm pretty sure at a point the team said that they had a partnership with Disney. It rocketed the floor. That was complete BS. But Shah here is saying Coolman's Universe just launched Cool Coin. They sniped 850 million out of the 900 million tokens pooled. After that, they announced the official coin address to the public, then decided to dump $1 million on everyone. That's insane. That's actually insane. To the point here where Coolman's Universe is going out and saying that there's some wild happenings behind the scenes from their official account. Further announcements with more details coming due to escalating real-life concerns, including threats against Danny. We have to prioritize this message first. This project is purely based on Danny's art. He is just the artist. We have a Web3 team fully operating the launch of this project, and the team is committed to building a long-lasting vision of Coolman's Universe. They took the whole supply and dumped $1 million on everyone that bought it because they were like, we like what you guys are doing. That's insane. Now, I try to be a comedian occasionally, but I can't do it any better than the way Ash Robin did. Now, I need a preface. He swears a little bit in this. So if you got kids, skip ahead like a minute. This is 53 seconds, but this is hilarious. Enjoy.
Collection is completely fucking dead. How are we supposed to make any more money? Wait, I have an idea. We can just launch a shitcoin. This is a great way for us to make more money. So our main collection is on ETH. Should we launch it there? Fuck no. Let's launch it on Solana. All right, we're doing this. Looks like the coin is live. Yo team, did you guys snipe the whole supply? Okay, we're in at literally 0, right? Okay, now we can tweet that it's live. This coin is mooning. Guys, how much are we up? A couple mil? Listen to me very clearly. I want you guys to dump every fucking token that you possibly can right now. You guys did it? Let's go! Wow, this was so easy. Instead of doing anything for the NFT collection, we just made millions doing this. This was so great. We just cooked everybody. And now I have more money. Wow, these people are so stupid. But they can all kiss my ass. Man, our NFT collection.
Like, okay, dude. Ash Robbins cooking on that. But Harry Swan, I feel for them. The general chat last night of people posting his family's addresses and personal information. And you're like, you know, it's funny because at the same time, like, not to go like off topic here, but like there has been like a lot of government pushback on certain things, especially in the United States, right? Where the aspect is like this stuff is like public, and so when there's reports of like, you know, everywhere doing some shady things, but when things are transparent, oh boy, it gets very interesting. Imagine being a holder through all this thinking you'd get an airdrop, and he's hyping it up just to get rugged again. Yeah, bad, horrible. Tough look here. So Bankless had an interview here with Jeremy Allaire, who's the USDC founder, and I just want to play the initial like few seconds here for their opener where he talks about stablecoins.
Total value of stablecoins. What do you think by the end of this decade, by the end of 2030? Where are we sitting?
2030?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel comfortable saying $3 trillion.
$3 trillion just for stablecoins. Holy guacamole. Holy guacamole. Not bad. And to just put that into perspective, the global crypto market cap is 2.32 trillion right now. So he's saying stablecoins alone are going to be 3 trillion by 2030. That adoption curve has got to be insane for the next 6 years, to be honest, to hit those markers. Okay, so I don't want to debate you here, but we're going to go over some different headlines. And don't believe the first headlines. So Justin, starting September 1st, Russia to ban the use of all cryptocurrencies within their borders except for digital financial assets issued by the state. The need for the ban is because today cryptocurrency is a quasi-currency that replaces the ruble in the country, but only the Russian ruble fulfills the mission of the monetary unit, so this is the decision. Okay, so that was like the first headline that came out, and we're like, oh my God, that's interesting. So further to that, we have somebody who's commenting saying, clear as mud as always, Russia is not planning to outlaw crypto turnover in the country, an official said, emphasizing the need for accurate reporting over sensational headlines. So they're not